welcome. I'm Kris Kendall, your host for Fulfilled After 40, the podcast. Today, I'm here with Dr. Tara to talk about her exciting business and how that's all going. Dr. Tara, how are you?
Hello, thank you so much. I'm well. Thanks for having me.
Good, 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 of course. So, tell us a little bit about what's going on in your practice and how we can help.
Great, thank you. I am a career and life strategist. I launched in 2020. It's under Dr. Tara Speaks. I am known as the Up or Out coach. I help women, or empower women, should I say, to make the decision by taking action and awakening their career to design a plan to go up in the organization or out to a new opportunity.
Wow, that's great. Okay, I definitely could have used that many times in my career. All right, and so what are some of the biggest challenges you're facing right now with your business or growing it?
I would say, with most businesses, particularly those that started during COVID, I have been fortunate that I built some great relationships in my corporate career of 15 years in HR, and the majority of my clients have been referrals from those relationships that I've built. And so I would say the challenge is being able to really attract and appeal clients outside of those referrals, women who are having a seat at the table, who are going through the motions, who know it's time to make a decision to go up or out, but they just do not have a plan.
And so right now your business is built primarily on referrals. Have you done any other things or have you gotten any other clients outside of referrals?
I have. I have a website, which is drtaraspeaks.com. I am active across all social media platforms at I am Dr. Tara, whether that's Facebook or Instagram. I am on LinkedIn under Dr. Tara Hines or Dr. Tara Speaks. And in most cases, I would say that the clients that I've gotten through social media have been either through LinkedIn or Instagram. Although I post on Facebook, I would say that really the clients that are in the space for me to work with are found on LinkedIn or Instagram.
Yeah, I think that that makes the most sense. Okay. And then so how did they find you? Did they just see a post that you wrote or did you place an ad?
Post, although I've run ads, I cannot confirm that I've received anyone from an ad, but definitely from a post. Like they've either followed me or someone may have shared the post from LinkedIn particularly, and they found me that way.
Okay, so then when you're posting on either LinkedIn or Instagram, are they like what are the posts like? Are they stories or are they like giveaways or what is the content?
On LinkedIn, it's a post really just providing feedback about my services, and what they can gain from working with me, who I am, why it is unique to work with me. And then even in stories, typically it's just the highlight of the post. So it's just calling out, hey, are you three reasons you should go up or out, or three reasons you should consider to go up and out. And so if they click those links, then they would get additional information as to where to find me or how to get in contact in that process.
Do you use testimonials from your existing clients who have made that decision?
Yes, then that's a great question I have. And those have been really helpful. I can't confirm that I've actually acquired clients through those testimonials, but I definitely have testimonials that are posted on Instagram and on LinkedIn.
Okay, all right. Um, so the ones that work the best are when you're talking and you're just sort of listing out benefits and reasons why people should work with you.
Yes, yes, I
Okay,
would say yes.
okay. Now, how often are you doing those kind of posts?
So, not as often as I probably should. I definitely will say that. It's like I get on I will get on a plan that this I'm going to do 3 times a week, and sometimes it may be less or more. And I would say, particularly during 2023, I'm off to a great start for 2024. The goal is always to post 3 times a week and to either make that a combination of posting the services and or just sharing a story about why I do what I do.
As of now, that's the plan is 3 times a
Mhm.
week.
Yes.
Okay. And then do you have any content already created, like ready to go, or do you still need to sit down and come up with that content?
I do it by the week. So this information is out there now. I worked on it quite honestly during the holidays so that it was ready to go. So I have some for the first few weeks in January, but I sit
Okay.
down and I work on that content on the weekends.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so you've got some stuff lined up for the
Hmm.
next week or two or a couple
Yes,
weeks, and then you'll start over and create the next batch.
yes.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, so what do you think as far as the new content that you're creating? What is
Mhm.
that like? What is ready to go out there?
Um, Most of the content again is just speaking to this is the high, this is the beginning of the year. Many times that's when we've had those thoughts while we were off during the holidays. It's time to make a change. What will that change look like for 2024? How do you make that change? If you decide that you should work with a career coach, these are some reasons why. These are some benefits. Even if I'm not this coach that you choose to work with, make sure that you cover or look for these types of things in getting in working with someone one on one.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I can imagine that today, because there's so many layoffs happening, in industries throughout the country, that it's probably good and bad, right? Like people know that they could be laid off at any time, so they
Yes.
they do have to start having a contingent plan and
Mhm.
like what are they going to do and will they be prepared if that happens? So, is any of your content based around or your coaching, is it based around them being sort of forced into a decision, or is it all just about them choosing?
That's a funny question. That's a great question because one of the taglines that I use often is whether it's by force or by choice.
Okay.
And so I try to speak to that, particularly because I do follow the news, and from an HR prior, being in HR prior. I try to stay attuned to when layoffs are happening. When companies are downsizing, and so that is the messaging that I try to align with at that time. But I definitely have spoken to whether it's by choice or by force.
Okay, good, good. Yeah, no, I think that's great. Okay, so it sounds like you have a pretty good plan to um, stay on top of your LinkedIn and Instagram posts, right? So now the goal would be to add some additional channels that people can find you, learn about you, research, come to get in contact with you. All right. So, are you part of any like networking groups or like women's organizations or career focused type of groups?
No, well, I say I'm not in the local area, but I am part of a few online in like Facebook groups,
Okay.
and a few on LinkedIn, but I'm not active in those. And
Okay.
that's just giving me that's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah. There might be some value to looking into some of the IRL groups, like either local in your community or in your industry where people get together once a month and they have a meeting and they have social hours and they have, happy hour now and then or whatever. And they just kind of um, do some of that real life interaction because it is nice to get in front of people and to have those conversations. I know I'm in a lot of Facebook groups too, and it is hard to like get anyone's real attention unless you're
Mhm.
like the three people who are always talking, right?
Yes.
Okay, so is that something you think would benefit and could be added to your plan, your schedule?
Yes, absolutely. No, I think that's a great idea.
Okay. And then another thing that I think would be really helpful for you is trying to speak at some of these kind of organizations. So, not just, it doesn't only have to be career or women groups, but which city are you from or which like metropolitan area is closest to you?
I'm between Arkansas and Texas.
Okay. All right. So, you have a lot of different towns and groups locally, but then also online is
Yes.
probably going to be the way you really reach people. Okay, so some of the things that I'm thinking are if you create like a signature talk, which do you have some sort of a presentation that is easy to give to groups?
Yes, I do, and I've spoken to some groups. Actually, I have a few, 2 lined up for next month,
Oh, great.
and their themes are a little different, but I definitely have a signature talk. Is dealing with roadblocks and we're speaking to corporate professionals.
Okay. Now, roadblocks like in your career?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And are those focused, um, is the goal of each of those to make a decision to either get up or get out?
No, it's more typically I it's a motivational, inspirational theme.
Okay.
And so just really sharing with them the journey of roadblocks that don't necessarily start in the middle of your career or at the end. It's something that probably started at the beginning or in life that you have brought with you throughout your career.
Okay. Do you think it would make sense? And maybe not. I mean, those are, kind of great ways to get people to know you and to trust you and to like you and to want to work with you. But do you think that there would also be benefit to creating a talk that's like, um, how to decide when it's time to go up in your career or get out into something else or in your company or whatever, like that's very specific to what you do?
No, I think that that's actually an amazing idea.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. So because I think that that will then definitely attract the people who are like, I've been thinking about this a while and maybe I need to, get a little more serious. Okay. So that I think could be very helpful. Um, and then once you have that for the two talks that you have lined up, what kind of places are they at? What kind of organizations?
One is virtual. It's with a church organization because I have a children's book, Scripting with Scriptures, and they wanted me to just speak to their youth regarding the journey
Nice.
on pulling that together. The other one is at a corporation in Illinois. It's I'm a part of their Black History speaker series,
Oh,
and they
cool.
haven't laid out the theme yet, but it's based on just the dialogue. It's going to be more of a motivational, inspirational talk as well.
Okay, excellent. All right. Well, I think those are great places, especially churches. There's um, so many churches that have great women's groups
Hmm.
or like maybe even like a Bible study or some sort of like a networking community group that meets on like a Wednesday night or,
Hmm.
Saturday afternoon or something like that. If you can find any of those, reach out to some within your community or even online, that are maybe affiliated with the church that you go to,
Yes.
um, and see if they have those kind of groups and if they would like a speaker to talk about making career changes and moving, making the decision to either go up or out. So that could be a way for you to get in front of groups of people who are like-minded and that are interested and would love to hear your message. And then outside of that, I have been on lots of boards with organizations like PTAs, and
Yes.
I know that sounds, like out of the immediate audience, but all the people that are a part of the PTA are parents. They're
Yes.
deciding what they want to do with their career. Are they going to continue to look for promotions and go up that ladder, or do they want to start their own business, or they want to do something else? Are they burnt out and ready for a change? So they are always looking for people to talk at their meetings because they
Yes.
schedule, a meeting per week during the school year or per month. And very often they love to have people come in, and many of those are still virtual. So that's something that you don't,
Okay.
you're not limited to your own community, but probably ideally a bigger community. So that there's a big school, go to like kind of the bigger school. So there's a lot of parents that would attend maybe 30 or 50 or 100 versus like
Hmm.
12. So, that could be something to keep in mind. Also, mothers groups
Oh,
or uh, homeschooling
yes.
organizations.
Okay.
So, again, not so much to speak to the kids necessarily, but to talk to the parents. And when they do like mom's night outs or, um, you know, uh, Tuesday night personal development speaking series or something like that throughout the year, they are often looking for people who have a message that will resonate with the people in that stage of life between
Yes.
30 and 50 who are trying to figure out, are they in the right place? Is it the right time? Are they ready to make a change? Are they happy or not happy or whatever? And how does it affect their family and the other priorities that they have? How do you feel about that? Does that seem like that could be helpful?
No, absolutely. Those are some great ideas. Definitely some that were far from things that were on my list. So I appreciate you sharing those.
Yep, yep. And also even so my hospital, and this is true I think for a couple of the hospitals in my area, they also have these like wellness, health and wellness kind of talks.
Hmm.
And career development could certainly be fall under that, like happiness and how to improve your life and your overall work life balance and that kind of thing.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
there might even be some opportunities if there's like an activities um, program, or if they set up things for that are like opportunities for their patients or their members, not so much patients, like, excuse me, in the hospital, but like
Hmm.
patients in their network that
Okay.
come in and they walk through for appointments, and they'll see on their flyers, or maybe they send out a newsletter of different activities that they're hosting, like they're going to be at the wine festival with a table set up, and they're going
Oh,
to
okay.
be at different things like that, where there's opportunities to see if they might like to host a talk and invite all of their membership to attend virtually or live if it's something local. So I think that there's some opportunities for you to get in front of very different people, but that
Yes.
all fall into the same stage of like wanting to make a change and needing help from you to get to that point.
No, and that just really started me to think about, particularly when you mentioned the PTA, because I know even city governments bring in speakers as well. So yeah, you've started my wheels to spinning. So I appreciate that.
And I mean, you're in HR, so
Hmm.
you have probably, or at least in the past, have probably worked, in at least in a corporate setting, in a company setting, where they also bring in lunchtime,
Yes.
lunch and learn things. So reaching out to some of the companies local to you, either their HR department or their training department, and offering up your talk to their employees, because they also are incentivized, and they have on their KPIs and their goals for the year to have 5 personal development or professional development opportunities that they offer to their employees. So it makes them look good. It makes their employees happy to say, we want you to have these opportunities to develop in your career. And they might not want so much of the emphasis on the leave the company, but if there are
Yes.
people who you can present it in a way, if there are people who are no longer happy to be working with you, they're not engaged, they're detractors, you don't
Hmm.
want them there anyways, right? They want those
Right.
people out. And everybody gets to a point in a company where they're like, it's time for me to go. I'm
Hmm.
no longer happy here. And that's when they leave, right? So
Right.
helping people get to that point, or moving away from it, and identifying a path up, or even in a different group or whatever, is a
Yes.
benefit certainly for that company. So whether you put together a package that they could pay you the speaker fee to come in, or if you wanted to start out doing it um, not paid, but then you have that audience,
Mhm.
is a great way to get in front of your ideal clients.
Yes, definitely. No, that and the lunch and learn is also something that I didn't think about. But what also stood out is you're right. It's not always about out leaving the organization. It could be out just to another function or just I'd say across as well. So that's always an option to kind of tailor it to speak to those groups.
Yeah. So maybe the first step for that, and having worked in like I've done a lot of marketing and communication type of roles in corporate America, and I would get a lot of these cold messages from people or companies saying like, "Hey, we put together a program on how to, you know, um, increase your DEI, or how
Mm,
to, work with certain types of employees, or how to help people cope with having new babies, or that work life balance, or dealing with death, or whatever the thing is. And
Mhm.
they would just kind of lay out, like, this is what we talk about, here are a few of the things that are most important, this is what um you know the people that we talk to find most helpful.
Mhm.
And we will come to your company, or we'll do this virtually during a lunchtime, and kind of put together your little offer as a letter or a flyer or something like that, and
Okay.
and send it out to some of these HR people. You're in that network, so maybe a lot of the people that are in your network would be the first step of, like, they already know what you're doing, but they're thinking of it for themselves. Like, I'm
Yes.
pretty happy in my company and where I'm at, so I don't need your services, but thank you. But if you present it now as like oh, I could take this to my boss, or I could provide this to my team, my
Yes.
employees, now that's something different. And so, you can still take advantage of your current network in a different way, and kind of planting a slightly different seed that might get some real traction. And also, then
Yes.
that's that one to many, right? You speak one time and you're getting the message out to lots of people, instead of having to do all the one on one discovery calls and that sort of early sales discussions.
Yes. Yes. Great. Great. This is fantastic.
Good, good, good. Okay. So, is there anything else, or does that bring up any other questions that you'd like to talk about before we wrap up?
No questions. Actually, I'm just thinking about all the things I can go and do based on our conversation today. So this has been great.
Oh, good, good, good. More work for you to do, right? But important work, right?
Good work. Good work.
Yeah, money generating kind of work. So
Yes.
this is good. All right, excellent. Okay, well, thank you so much, Dr. Tara, for joining today. If people do want to work with you, I know you mentioned your contact at the beginning, but do you want to just repeat one more time how they can get in touch now that they're thinking about bringing this to their companies as well?
Yes, absolutely. I can be reached at drtaraspeaks.com is my website. And across social media, I am Dr. Tara.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much. I can't wait to hear how things go, and which of these methods are most effective, and look forward to talking to you again. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.